So,
are we still recording?
yes, we are still, and we're going to start now.
I forgot. Okay. Okay.
So I'm Emily Williams, and this is Cindy Clark.
Hello.
Cindy, say something about yourself.
I'm Emily's friend.
We've been friends for decades, and especially quilting friends, but a lot of things. We've done a ton of things together.
Yes.
Choir, singing at our church, and VBS leadership.
Right. Right.
That was an age ago.
That was an age ago. That was an age of our children ago.
Yes, when our children were actually children instead of now fully grown adults.
That's right.
So some of you know me from Floss Tube and Variety Show, and some of you may be new to this channel and perhaps haven't met Cindy. Cindy's a nurse and a cardiac rehab nurse, and she's the best person to have with you at all points in your life. So I never leave her side because she saves people's lives regularly. She truly does, both through urgent things as well as her normal work, because what you do is life-saving. Cardiac rehab.
True. That's true.
Yeah.
It is. Let's move on.
Okay, so we're going to move on. I'm pretty comfortable in front of the camera, and Cindy is fairly new to this, even though I've tried to tell her that it doesn't matter, right?
Right.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Right, because no one will watch this.
Right. Someone will.
All
You
right.
have people.
I do have some people, and maybe some of them will watch it.
I bet they will.
All right, so I thought we'd talk a little bit about what we are currently working on in the quilting realm, or any sewing, and show some things that are either in progress or some pictures of some things that are finished, some things we want to do, and just sort of talk about what we do up here in the studio and what we have done. So, Cindy, why don't you show us some things you've been working on?
All right. Well, this is what's in my hand, so let's do this.
Okay.
So Emily's talked about Pog Lake many times, and I've been fortunate to go there 3 times. And this is a picture that we took at least 10 years ago.
Is this a sunset or sunrise? I can't
It's
remember.
sunset.
Sunset.
Yes.
Though there's quite a bit of mist
I know, but the sun sets
across
behind
from us.
us. It rises across from us.
So I think this is sunrise.
Okay, well, I don't remember. Anyway,
Yeah,
Whatever.
it's some point in the day.
it's not about the time of day.
No.
So Emily and I decided to do some quilts related to our Pog Lake pictures and our Pog Lake memories. And so this is mine, and so it's meant to be a reproduction of that picture.
I think it's just amazing.
Yeah, it's not finished yet, as you can tell, but I'm excited to finish it.
But it's pretty close, isn't it?
It is. It needs to be quilted. Yeah.
Right, but is that all?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
So in 2020, so every year I have mentioned before that Cindy and I go to the Quilt Show up in Hampton, Virginia, and every year we go and take a class or 2. Most years we take a class or 2.
Yeah.
And in 2020 we went. And in 2021 we didn't. But in 2021 instead we had our own little quilting weekend, and we decided we were just going to pretend we were at the Quilt Show and make our husbands wait on us with food.
Right.
And that we were going to work on a special project. So Cindy did that, and I did this Pog Lake related project, which it is also not finished, nor is it ironed, but this is going to be a map. And so this is Pog Lake. This is a little river where some episodes ago I talked about seeing the moose. In fact, we saw the moose right around in here, I think. I think that was the moose area. And this is Pog Lake, and this is the main highway.
And this is Lake of Two Rivers.
Yes, it is. And I think over here is our campsite. And the picture that Cindy took is taken from there looking that way. But I'm going to put the campground, I'm going to put some little gray lines in representing the campground, and then I'm going to put a little image of a tent and a loon and a moose and maybe a wolf and things like that. So that will be what this is, which hopefully at some point I'll show this to you, because it will be finished and it will be beautiful. And
Yeah, we
yeah.
have to finish those.
Yes, I think it'll be fun.
Okay.
What else are you working on? Have you been working on?
Kind of in the middle of this one, which this is a block of the month quilt from the Quilt Show. From several years ago. I only started it probably last year, and it's so much fun to do. Each little block is its own little treasure, and the letters are appliqued on, and after you finish the alphabet, there's a huge beautiful border it's a whole quilt in itself. So I would love this quilt. I'm very excited about it.
And the blocks are supposed to be related to the letter.
Right, so F for flying geese.
And D for duck and ducklings.
Right, and some of these I've never heard of before, but it's kind of a quilting nerd's alphabet, because I don't know if it's something you would make for your grandchildren, because they don't know what flying geese are until you teach them.
Well, maybe it would be a way to teach them.
That's right.
Yeah.
I plan to
That's
teach
fun.
Ella.
So some of you have seen me show this that I'm working on, which is, so I just cannot make my brain keep that right side up. But this is a portion, this is about a 1/10 or so of a tumbling block quilt that I'm making on commission, and it's going to be queen size, and I think I've done the stitching on about just over half of the, I think I'm about just over half done. So that's been something. This past year, was just this past year?
Yeah, it was this year.
I mean, so this is pretty, come step into the picture a little.
I was going to go get my pieces
Oh,
of that. You
okay.
start talking.
All right. We're up here in the studio, which I'll tell you more about in a minute, but Cindy and I took a class in February when we went to the Quilt Show, and the project was to do freehand curvy things, and this was my project. I mean, doing it in black and white was one of the suggested options, which I did. And the miraculous thing is that I finished this quilt top. I mean, I haven't put the borders on it, but I finished it within 2 months of the class,
right
which
away.
is like crazy for me.
Yeah, and this was mine, which is not. It's just 2 single blocks, not put together yet, but there are
2 different batiks, really
Yeah.
nice.
yeah. So
that's a project.
that's a project.
Yeah.
Don't count how many projects we have unfinished.
Yeah, we aren't showing you everything.
It's embarrassing.
This is the camera is attached to the cutting table here. And beneath the cutting table, there are a few things. But one of the projects that we have going is this quilt, which was a block of the month in 2020, maybe, from the Quilt Show, called Afternoon Delight. And Cindy and Cindy said, Emily, I think we should make this together.
And Emily said, I don't do applique.
Yeah, so neither of us really did much applique.
And I said, neither do I, but you like to do handwork, so I think you will like it.
And it turns out 2020 was the ideal year to do a lot of handwork
applique,
because we ended up working from home. And so if you're sitting in a Zoom meeting, no one can tell what you're doing below your neck, You can keep
they can see your
working
hands
on
going
things.
like this.
Yeah, maybe, possibly. So there are 49 applique blocks in this, and we did them.
Yeah, we split them up.
Yeah, every month the new ones would come out, and we would decide who was going to do which ones.
Yeah.
So we did a bunch of them. This, I think, was the very first one I did, which is not good, but it's fine.
It's really good.
It's okay. And the quilt was designed with, what's the term? Civil War reproduction fabrics,
right.
which we didn't want to use.
Oh,
I love that one.
Yeah. We love the we love the colors that we chose.
We chose bright. Oh yes,
Yeah.
This one is very funny.
That's we call the polyps.
Yeah. It's hilarious. And this one, I fussy cut little ladybugs to be on those berries or whatever they are. I really like how that turned out.
That's probably the prettiest one.
And I like this one too. I like these sawtoothed ones, sort of the gears. And also part of this quilt are 64 9 patches, which we've made 58 of, 50 something. Yeah, we might have 12 or 15 more to go.
Yeah. Did you bring up
I didn't bring one of the
other block?
There's also a churn dash in there.
I don't know if they can see that.
Yeah. Well,
next time.
But what we figured is you can see our blocks much better, the contrast. And also, to be fair, this I'm sure looks better in person.
Yeah, that's a tiny representation of a big quilt.
Yeah, it's basically a queen size. It's 85 inches square when it's finished. And our goal, so I'm going to say this and we'll see if it happens. Our goal is to finish it by the state fair in North Carolina, which is in October.
You need to finish that
other quilt first. Yeah.
But
yeah,
if not,
maybe
we'll finish it next year.
Yeah. But we've certainly had a lot of fun learning to applique.
Yeah. And here's another quilt that I haven't started yet, but I'm excited about doing. It's called Cathedral by Allison Glass, and I learned about it from Angela Walters on a video or show or something.
Yeah.
I forget what it was. But so she designed her own line of fabric, and so.
And this is for that quilt.
Yeah.
All these beautiful colors.
Yeah.
This will be great for your granddaughter's bedroom.
And then there's lots of and her big thing is quilting. So there's lots of beautiful negative space to quilt in. So that'll be a fun project.
Yeah, so this one, the larger size one, which is the one Cindy's planning to make, is 54 inches square. But she also includes the templates to make an 18-inch square one. So I want to make an 18-inch square one out of different fabrics. Because, I don't know why, maybe I'll change my mind when the time comes and make it out of full-size fabrics. But, so just to give you a little picture of or little information about where we're standing, we're standing in front of our long arm machine, which is an APQS Lucy model, and we love this thing. It was life-changing when it came, wasn't it? I mean, it was unbelievable. And we got it a week before everything shut down.
Yes.
In March of 2020.
Yes.
And I just can't say enough about how amazing it has been to have it.
Yeah. Yeah, we each had a whole stack of quilts quilt tops that we had put together that we didn't mess up. We didn't want to mess them up with bad quilting, so we just kept stacking them up. But Lucy, that's her name. That's her name with an E. Allowed Emily to kind of go through her stack. I'm still working on it.
I think the first 12 months, we kept a pretty close census of how many quilts we quilted in the first 12 months. And I think it was 27, which is more than one a week. I mean, that's amazing. Among them are the two dream panels you see behind us, the blue one Cindy did and the pink one I did. And at some point we may take them off the wall and show them closer, but those were designed, we got them from, I got them, I think, from
sent one.
Quilting is My Therapy, which is Angela Walters' store in Missouri. And I'll put some links to some of the things we mentioned.
Yeah. But they were our COVID shutdown learn how to quilt projects. Yeah. Like, I couldn't believe when Emily had it sent to me, had the
because
blue one.
We were forced to be apart because of stay-at-home orders at that point.
And I thought, it's going to be years before I can do this. And I had it done before we could get back together. Yeah. It was so fun.
Yeah. Fun. I kind of want to do another one.
Well, there are more out there.
There are lots of them. There are even more, and there's bigger ones.
Yeah, and different pictures.
Yeah. But basically the idea of those is that in each flower petal, you do an outline and then you do some different design. I mean, you can do anything you want in there, but
we did
the idea is to practice a different featherish thing.
Yeah, we did feathers, which who knew you could do feathers just like that.
Just like that.
Yeah. And then they're up there as inspiration for, what should I put next on this quilt?
Yeah, so we go, I mean, I often go behind I'm quilting something, I'll go behind and look at Cindy's, look at mine and think, oh, I forgot we did that.
Yeah.
I could do that.
That came out good.
Yeah. And we were rank beginners.
Yeah.
And I'm not ashamed of those.
No.
I mean, I wouldn't be ashamed of them today.
Yeah. No.
I mean, there are some things I've learned
Yeah.
to do better, but
They're not perfect, but they're a success story for
Yeah.
sure.
and we've made so many quilts, and I'll put we try to take a picture of every quilt that we make before we send it away or pack it away, or whatever we do, stack it up somewhere.
Stack it up for future.
And I'll try to insert a few pictures that show the quilting, because it's so fun to do. I mean, one of our ideas with owning such a beautiful thing as this machine is that we would quilt other people's quilt tops, because it's a resource that not every quilter has access to, is a long arm quilting machine. And most people, I would say, wouldn't know how to use one if they did have access to one. You'd have to practice and maybe have some lessons. We had some training, and we had quite a bit of time to practice when we first got connected with APQS at Threadwaggle Quilting, I think is what it's called, in Raleigh, which is about a 35-minute drive from us, is where that place was. And so anyway, we are interested in quilting other people's quilt tops. That would be fun to do as well. And I want to get involved in our local quilt guild. Also to quilt those ladies' quilt tops, but there's a lot of charity projects going on that I think there are plenty of people who want to piece quilts, but I would love to quilt their quilts so that they can be donated to the Children's Hospital or wherever the destinations are.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I'm going to show a picture of the quilt you made for your granddaughter.
Oh, yes.
Which is
I love it.
so spectacular.
Yes, I'm very happy with it.
And I recently finished that Build a Quilt, which those of you who have seen my regular channel, I used it as a closing picture within the past month, but it's ready to have the binding hand sewn, but it's too hot to think of a quilt touching me, frankly, so I have not sewn the binding. Fortunately, that isn't for anyone. There's no deadline on that, so yeah. So this is what we wanted to show you today. Hope you have enjoyed it, found something of interest. This is going to be on my regular channel as a special edition. I think Cindy and I, as we get projects moving and think of things we are interested in showing, we might make a video every several weeks, 3 or 4 weeks probably, because it would be fun, and we have a lot of fun together. And we've had a lot of fun together.
Yes, we have had.
Over our lives as friends. So thank you for watching, and see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.